Hey guys, welcome to 25.
And our 9234.
With our special review episode, today we have the Kamen Fourze belt. Drill, launcher, rocket, radar, and switch set 2. Alright, so now we have the Kamen Fourze belt. The Fourze belt looks like something from space because it has a space look to it. And it has a little nice translucent bluish purple kind of look to it, so it's really nice.
So you can see all the electronics that are inside.
And of course all the switches are either space items or something, and they actually are switches. Just like in space, so you could just press a switch and you do something with it. Each of the Kamen Rider switches have a shape on it. Like the first one is a circle, the second one is an X, third one's a triangle, and fourth one is a square. So that's how you put all the switches in.
Now you can't interchange between switches. For example, you can't put the triangle switch in the circle switch. That's the thing that they actually never really explained so well in the show. So you can't actually like have, for example, if you wanted to have the fire switch, the lightning switch, the cosmic switch in different slots all of a sudden, you can't do that.
And also the thing is that it's actually molded into the belt. You can see that it has a circle, it has this X kind of shape, it has a little triangular shape, this has a square shape. To turn on the sounds, all you gotta do is just turn on the bottom. And you just put in switch 1.
You'll announce each one.
So the henshin, just like he does it. Henshin. Now to do different variants, we can just do
You can do a limit break on all 4 switches. The only unfortunate thing is that the limit breaks don't have specific sound effects. Another thing I need to complain about is that radar. In the show, if you notice, whenever Fourze uses the radar, he can spin it and it simply triggers it, but on the toy, it has to lock. So it's really hard to actually get it to lock.
when you do all 4, you can actually do it.
You can do an 4-4 limit break. But it still does the exact same sound effect.
So when all the switches are down, you can just keep
doing the henshin transformation over and over again. There's no limit on you can do it. Another glitch you can do is that if you take all the switches out except for one, you can henshin as well. Any one switch will make it trigger it. So it doesn't matter if the switches are up or down, it doesn't matter.
So switch 12 is beat.
It goes in port 2.
And 13 is the
chain array,
which is
goes in the circle slot.
Oh.
And of course you can do limit break as well. But again, it uses the exact same sound effects as the normal limit break.
Now the only bad part is that there are 40 switches.
And they all work in the belt. All 40 switches do have their customized sound whenever you put them in and trigger them.
But the only bad part about all the switches is we never got all of them as the deluxe version. In the Television magazine, they actually have clearer versions of these.
And also some of them will also have battery operated, so you can actually have the lights inside that mimic the show.
Yeah. For the deluxe switches, just like the Oldsmeadows, they came with a card.
Decade cards.
This one shows electric states. On the back, it shows the symbol of Fourze, and that's how you get them. Now there were about 4 switch sets released already, and each of them were all different. Now if you wanted to complete every single switch set right now, you have to buy Gashapin versions, deluxe versions. In order to get it fire and electric, you'd have to buy the Billy the Rod or the Heat Hack gun, or you just buy them by Candy or Gashapin.
Yeah.
Now the only switch that has not been in Gashapin or Candy is the deluxe Cosmic switch. Now to connect the belt, you just gotta push it into whichever side it is.
Yeah, it does tell you that which direction it goes in. One has an L, one has an R, so you can't get it wrong. these belts are just specifically designed for kids, obviously. But you can actually get official Bandai extension belts depending on your waist. It would take either 2 or 3 extension pieces. Or you can make your custom belt because you can simply unscrew these parts and actually do either rope tie, or in my case, I actually use tying wire to extend the belt to fit my waist exactly.
Now the Kamen Fourze belt, there's a design fault in it.
Basically what happened was that you see all the switches in the front, they're specifically made to, you know, there's switches inside each front, and then when you put it down, it pushes a switch in. Unfortunately, the design fault happens when you push down a switch, the plastic tab that's inside the body, it doesn't hit the switch correctly and it actually lets go. Basically, in order to fix the issue, I actually had to open it up and actually either wrap tape or a piece of cardboard to make the switch stand a little bit thicker so that the switch gets pushed in all the way. The belt is missing one sound, the shutdown sound. When you flip the switches, they go off, but no power down sound triggers.
Overall, it's a really nice design. I like the whole light on the front.
It's not a real LCD screen. It's actually just simply light bulbs inside the back.
It will get expensive because Fourze is going to be ending soon. So I suggest you guys pick up your Fourze belt before anything happens to it, because it was actually pretty hard to get back during the Christmas time, because Japan even had low stock on the issues on the Fourze belt because of how expensive it is to make it.
The thing I really liked about the belt is that they actually gave you the option to buy the switches in other places rather than forcing you to buy the head gun, the Billy the Rod, and so forth. You don't have to buy the other accessories if you choose not to. You can just get the switches in candy or gacha bin.
That's it for our review of the Fourze belt. Join us next week for the Meteor belt. Become subscribed. We'll see you next week.
The one thing I particularly don't like about the belt is that if you leave it idle, it'll keep re-looping the sound effects over and over again. It doesn't match what the show does, where it has just the music looping.
Now, you can either buy the belt right now, or you wait about 10 to 20 years when Bandai actually releases the official complete selection belts. Those are more expensive, but they're all adult-sized belts, and they're a bit more louder. The complete selection belts, we haven't seen many in about the past few years already, because the last one that was actually released was doing Deno, and
it didn't even come with all the accessories.
Yeah, it didn't, and it was and complete selection belts cost about
$200-300,
sometimes even more. So I mean, it's a nice thing to do, but if you really want
specific belts, then
I would say yes. But if you really don't care and you rather just spend the money on the kid version and just get the belt extenders, I would personally by far go for that. Complete selection is really worth it, but only if you have the money. Now also, Mr. S from CS4 actually had an error with his, because one of his buyers, when he bought the Fourze belt, it didn't work. Now, Mr. S recently just went outside and he tried to do a demo with the gacha bin switches, and he was in about nice little weather. It's kind of humidish. It was really sunny, and when he turned on the Fourze belt, it didn't really work. Now, that's also another odd thing, because most switches, even in the sunlight, they work. Some guy have shown all his belts out in like the bright light, and they work perfectly. But for the Fourze belt, I guess
it was either overheating
or something that's going on. But yeah, when Mr. S went back to the building and he tried it on, it actually worked. So it's kind of odd how it has some design flaws to it, and the fact that the switches can, keep resetting and whatnot.
Now, there's one drawback to the battery-operated ones. The battery-operated ones basically have the LED in the front, and it has a button cell battery inside. Now, the problem is when the battery dies, there's actually no proper way to actually open them except dismantle the actual switch. The problem is that the front sticker actually covers the gap, so you would have to actually cut the stickers when you would have to replace the button battery inside the switch.